right, we're getting in some breaking inputs as far as the Kashmiri Pandits are concerned. The 1990 Kashmir genocide SIT probe pleas have been put forth before the Supreme Court. The matter is currently being heard by a bench headed by Justice B.R. Gawai and C.T. Ravi Kumar. The hearing has begun, and Advocate Barun Kumar Sinha is informing about the changes currently in the Jammu and Kashmir Constitution post 2019. For more details, let's quickly go across to Ananya Bhatnagar, our legal correspondent, who's joining me on the phone line. Ananya, if you could share the details of this plea and how crucial it is going to be.
Well, Akansha, the matter has now ended and the Supreme Court has asked, in fact, these petitioners to approach the central government with the representation, because remember, whenever a petition is filed with such a nature, it is always advised that first a representation is made to a particular authority, and the same was not done by Mr. Barun Kumar Sinha, who was the advocate for the We the Citizens NGO, which had approached the court with a demand that a SIT probe should be conducted in the genocide that had happened in the Kashmir Valley in the 1990s, leading to the exodus of the Kashmiri Pandits there. So what is very, very crucial to note is that now the Supreme Court has asked the petitioner to approach the central government with a representation, and after a central government gives a take on this, he can, in case they are not happy or their demand is not met, they can approach the topmost court of the country again with regards to their demand, showing that we had approached the central government, but then no relief or nothing happened. But then now what is very, very crucial to see is as to now what happens next, because a representation would now be made before the central government, and the ball has now again shifted from the court of the of the Supreme Court to the ball has now shifted to the central government. So we'll have to wait and watch as to how the central government reacts to this particular demand of the Kashmiri Pandits, who are seeking justice for last 32 years, because remember, this is almost 32 years after which the Supreme Court was considering this particular petition. It had happened in the 89 and 90s. The Kashmiri Pandits were in fact being killed in a major genocide in the Kashmir Valley, and later they had to it led to a big exodus of the Kashmiri Pandits in the valley, and this demand for a SIT probe has been long pending in not only in the Supreme Court but on various forums as well. Akansha.
Ananya, stay with us, because I'm also joined in by Tejinder Singh, who's joining us live right now. Tejinder, if you could take us through how crucial is going to be this process of representation, and now how the ball actually lies in the court of the central government.
See, the Supreme Court saying that now the NGO which had asked the Supreme Court to reopen the case and constitute a sit, because you see, we have been for the past couple of years, we have been speaking to the family members of those victims who were killed in Kashmir Valley by the terrorists since the armed terrorism started in Kashmir. Several of them say that at that time the local police even refused to register the FIR in those cases. People who were hanged to death by the terrorists, by the Islamists in Kashmir, their cases were not registered. So now the people who suffered during those years, when the armed terrorism started in Kashmir Valley, they had a ray of hope from the Supreme Court. They thought that Supreme Court would instruct the government to form a special investigation team to reopen all those cases and deliver them justice. But now it seems that their wait is going to continue. There is no end to the wait for justice. We have been continuously speaking to the family members of the victims, but now they say that now, as the Supreme Court has said that the NGO should approach the central government, so now they have a ray of hope that at least the central government would form a special investigation team or do something which would investigate all those cases. Because if you see, ever since the armed insurgency or Pakistan-sponsored armed terrorism started, Kashmiri Pandits, the minorities from various communities, they became a victim, and large number of their members were killed in what was called a systematic genocide, forcing all the minorities to leave Kashmir and to settle in other parts of the country. Yes.
Right. Thank you, Tejinder, for breaking that down for us. Many thanks to Ananya as well. And with that, we slip into a quick break as news and updates follow on the other side. Stay tuned to CNN News 18.